All is right with the world. Jodie and Aiden deserve it. They both deserve it. They really do. I really love happy endings, guys. I really do. Whew. Huh, there's still more. This ending,
I see things at night. Terrifying things.
Oh.
I tell myself it's only nightmares, but I know it's not true.
Sequel?
Once Pandora's box is open, it can never be closed again. No. It's not nightmares. It's what is about to happen. I've died twice already. I'm not afraid of death anymore.
Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, gosh,
Next
you
time,
guys.
I'll kill everyone.
Bravo, Ellen Page.
Oh my God, I was so afraid I lost.
Bravo, Willem Dafoe.
There's no telling what we'll find down there. How much time do we have after we've activated the self-destruct? We're not coming back.
Oh, Celine.
Get that Jackie. Saturday night, and I'm locked up in here.
Can't do it, babe.
She's more than amazing.
She's a miracle.
She's magnificent.
She's getting away!
Ryan. Bravo, Quantic Dream. Bravo. I love this game. Loved it, loved it, loved it. It wasn't perfect. In fact, I actually was keeping a track of notes on things that constructive criticism about the game. But overall, now that I've played through it once, loved it. I think at this point I love it just as much as Heavy Rain. Just as much as Heavy Rain. They're both apples and oranges. It's hard for me to compare the two really, because they're both really different in, you know, the theme and the story. But I loved it. I thought that the voice acting was awesome. The soundtrack was awesome. The graphics and the animations, the facial expressions were awesome. The whole gameplay of controlling Jodie and Aiden, like the ingenuity of that, I thought was very original. And it was just something that was very intriguing to me. And I love the dynamic of controlling this spirit, this ghost. And it was just really fun just to, you know, fling things around telekinetically and to read people's minds and to like look at, you know, being able to read memories and to possess people. Like that was just it's just so much fun. Emotionally, it was very emotionally driven. I don't think I got misty-eyed, but I don't think I actually managed to tear up really with this game like I did. I think I teared up a bit in Heavy Rain, but it was, I mean, I felt the feels. I definitely felt the feels. So, you know, those are all the things that I absolutely loved about the game. Things that was some criticisms, and I've mentioned this before, is, you know, the controls I thought are pretty, I got the hang of it eventually, but even then, there were times when I just felt like it wasn't really clear what direction Jodie was moving, and part of it is because of the camera angles. I think because the camera angles were different in, like, it was hard to read okay, well, she's moving, towards the camera. Like, I guess that means, push down, but she's standing up. She's standing up while moving towards the camera. So does that mean I'm pushing up or am I pushing down? Like, it was that kind of stuff that was in my head, which is why I understood why they did it, because I think they were trying to do away with the arrows as much as possible from Heavy Rain, because it didn't feel natural or flow seamlessly into the rest of the action. But it did make it a lot more challenging. Like, I played Heavy Rain on hard, and I still was able to keep up with the quick times. With this, it was still a bit of a challenge for me, and for all I know, maybe I'd like to believe that I'm not alone. I'd like to believe that other people had, challenges with the controls, with the quick times. The buttons were fine. Like, I was shaking the controller and I pushing the buttons fast. Like, that was fine. It was just translating movements that Ellie was making into the control, the movements that I had to do with the control stick that got a little nerve-wracking. Another thing that I thought was a bit of a drawback was throughout the game, there were some pretty important scenes that were optional. And I felt like certain scenes, if they're really that important or integral to the story, should not be triggered by optional means. Because, I was purposely trying to make Aiden respect Jodie's control and restraint. Because I played a pretty restrained Jodie. I was trying to have Aiden follow in that lead, like respect Jodie's wishes and her morals and values and her compassion and her ability to forgive. And I didn't want Aiden to, totally mess with people all the time, and because of that, there were things that I found out that Aiden needed to trigger in order for you to catch some really good scenes. But I mean, in the end, that's okay, because that means I can replay the game. I mean, it gives me another reason to replay the game. For Mia and Mercedes from the Infraworld, I know you're watching me. Oh, that's so sweet. That's really sweet. Wait, is there more? Convinced... Oh, yes, we convinced Dawkins. You have earned the trophy, Black Sun down. Okay, awesome. Whew. You've earned a trophy, chose life. I guess I wonder what the other trophy would have been. You have earned the trophy, the end. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Very awesome. So, as I was saying, to continue on, yeah, like, another criticism that I had was once you manipulate or pick up an object, you don't have the opportunity, many times you don't have the opportunity to put the object back if you didn't mean to do what you were going to do with that object. Because sometimes it wasn't clear when the little dots appeared, sometimes it wasn't clear what, activating that dot was going to do. For example, at the party, when that guy was offering me something, I thought they were offering me a drink. And so I moved the joystick to accept whatever was he gave me, and then I saw what he gave me. He gave me a joint, and I didn't get the option to give the joint back. In Heavy Rain, they did a pretty good job of that. In Heavy Rain, like, if you picked an object up, normally you were able to put the object back or go back on something, because I think it's really important in a game like this because of the camera angle, like I said, I couldn't see what he was offering me, and the only way that I could see, it seemed, to see what he was offering was by moving the joystick, and then the camera angle changed and I saw what it was. When Jodie, during Homeless, when Jodie picked up that knife, I figured she was going to pick up the knife and maybe pocket it, maybe use it to, I don't know, go hunting or carving or something. But no, she picked up the knife and then she, like, put it up to her wrists, and I was like, no. And it gave me the option, at that point, that was one of the rare occasions where it actually gave me the option to put it back. And I felt that there were several places where they should have given us the option to do that, especially because it's not always clear what you're about to do when you're manipulating one of those white dots. So that's another criticism I have. But other than that, I really enjoyed the game, and I heard that this game has multiple endings. Somebody, I think I heard that it was like 12 or even 24 different endings based on your choices, and I'm assuming it's, you know, a lot of it is, there are a lot of variables, like based on what you decided, based on whether you chose life or death, or, well, life or beyond, whether you chose to be with Jay or be with Ryan or be with Zoe or be alone, whether you chose, whether you know, Cole was alive or not alive, probably whether Paul was alive or not alive, you know, things like that. And I'm really, really excited to either play through the game again. I'm sure I'm going to play this game again on my own, and or watch other people's Let's Plays, so I can see the different decisions that people made, and I can see the different endings that they get. And I'm sure I'm gonna be able to see the opportunity to see all of the endings. And as you can imagine, I was very, very happy with the ending that I got. Like, out of the 24 endings, or 12 or 24 endings it could possibly have been, I would like to believe the ending that I got was the best ending for me. The ending that I believe I was most satisfied with. Because it looked like Jodie, you know, in the end, she found love. She found love. She, you know, she didn't lose Aiden. Aiden was still there. She found happiness. She found new purpose, new meaning for her life. She had the ability to start over. And she's hanging out in some sort of beach paradise with a really hot CIA guy with really rock hard body. Oh, the fan service. I was not expected for the game to be so gratuitous in you know, showing a little more skin with not only Ryan but also with Jay. I like to believe that they would also show a little bit of skin with Jay too, if you chose his ending. But I'm very pleased, and I feel so lucky that I was able to get that ending, again, with a blind playthrough. You know, without looking at any guides or any walkthroughs. I made all the decisions that I made. I stuck with the decisions that I stuck with, and, you know, I accepted the consequences of the decisions that I made and the behaviors that I made associated with those decisions. And you know what? I feel like I was rewarded for it. Some people, I think, mentioned that they felt that a lot of their decisions didn't really change the plot all that much. It didn't really affect certain things. And I can understand that, but you have to understand that I think of it differently. For me, even though the decisions that I made probably didn't change the arc of the story that much, the flow of this overall story arc that much, it still defined who Jodie was. It's a lot like in The Walking Dead. A lot of the people complain the same thing with The Walking Dead, that you make all these decisions, but ultimately, like, they say a lot of those decisions didn't matter. To me, it did. Because to me, I was telling the story of not only, you know, the story of Lee and Clementine, but I was telling the story of who Lee was. I was defining Lee as a character. I was defining what Lee would do in certain situations, and how he would react, and how would he behave. That is why I enjoyed The Walking Dead and their decision. It wasn't because I necessarily needed my decisions to drastically change the story. I was just trying to define who Lee was. Because for me, I find just as much enjoyment in that.